Hi everyone, it's Kay from Kay's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making a wreath. We're going to do teal and white and a few floral colors mixed in, kind of as a background color. I'll explain that more later. And I'm starting off by making my wreath frame, adding my pipe cleaner so I can have something to attach my mesh with. I have a full video on this, which I'll put in the description box, and I'll try to remember to put it at the within the video too, but definitely be in the description box so that you can learn how I do this. I've kind of gotten it down now to just knowing kind of where to space things, so I've been doing it for a while. But anyway, welcome to the channel. I'm going to put 10 of these around the outer rim and 8 of them on the second to the inner rim, and then we'll move on with our wreath. So the next step I'm going to do is gather the end of my mesh. This is a 30 foot roll. I wish it was 30 yards. A 30-foot roll of 10-inch wide mesh, and I am just first adding it to the first zip tie, to the first pipe cleaner here, doing a couple twists to attach it, and then I'm going to take the zip tie and put it around the raw end of the mesh there, and zip tie it tight so that that won't be unraveling or, you know, eventually sticking out somewhere where you don't want it to be seen. So now that that's secured, what I do is gather my mesh so that the outer edges are kind of tucked in, so it's kind of got that rounded look, and I measured out 10 inches, and then I'm adding it into the next pipe cleaner, and that's going to give me that little poof there of mesh. And as I go around, you just kind of continue doing this, and each time, if you care to, or you can wait till the end, just kind of fluff out your poof so that it's nice and full. This is your foundation for your wreath. It's what's going to give everything else on top support so that everything stands out nice and full. And like I said, I just continue to measure it out and then add it to the next pipe cleaner. And this is called the poof method. And I'm going to continue this all the way around the inner rung of the wreath. And then I'm going to go around the outer rung of the wreath. And then we'll be ready for the next step. Now, I'm not going to make this a long video, so I won't be showing it completely. But like I said, if you care to see it all step by step, I will have a another video linked. And you can, if you need the time to really see it step by step, I will show it in a another video there you can watch. Okay, now if this is your first time here on Kay's Creative Home, let me welcome you. And if you think someone else could benefit from this video, don't forget to share it. Give me a thumbs up. And if you want to become a family member, you can hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you'll be notified as I release new videos. Okay, let me finish this up, and then we'll be ready for the next step. So next, I forgot to save a piece to show you what I did here. It's a 20-inch piece of mesh. You see how I've curled it on both ends? So you kind of do a couple rolls on one end, hold it with a clamp. You do a roll on the other end, and then you just scrunch it up in the middle, bringing it together. And it makes this kind of a fan look on both sides. And you can see how the roll is rolling into on each end, like I was pointing that out. So now what I'm going to do is add it to my wreath. And when I did, because everything is in white, you can see straight through to the frame. So I had to figure out a way to cover that because I wanted all white mesh instead of adding a colored mesh. I haven't seen a teal mesh, and so I didn't want to put in, you know, a blue that didn't really blend well. So what I did was I cut a 10-inch piece of this floral ribbon, and it has some nice teal colors in it, and I put it down, and then I added the gathered mesh on top of it. So you got a little bit of this floral colors peeking through, and I just cut the ends at a diagonal, and just try to see if it would be enough to cover the frame and then give you another little peek at a color within the wreath. And I liked it. I think if I had it to do over again, I would do it a little differently. And I am going to be making some more wreaths with a lot of white, so I may try something else, a different method here, to add some more color underneath that gathered mesh layer. So now that's how it looks. I think it's kind of cute to have those colors peeking through, and it's looking like a a third ribbon there. I cut it shorter so it wouldn't get too bumbled, underneath everything, because it won't be on top. The ribbon on top has space to kind of flow and curve, but what's underneath there is running into the other mesh. So I just did 10 inches. And so now I'm gonna and I chose 10 inches because that's the length of the mesh that I just gathered. Excuse me. So what I'm doing now is just cutting some more 10-inch pieces, so I'll be ready to add them in each time I attach my mesh to my wreath. So the next thing I want to do is add these bundles to my wreath. So again, I start with adding first this 10-inch floral ribbon, and then I have a bucket sitting on the floor full of my gathered white mesh. I'm putting that on top, and then I'm going to add my ribbon tails, and these are cut at 14-inch lengths, and I'm going to place that right on top there and twist it in. And once I give it a few good twists, I cut off the excess and then tuck that raw piece pipe cleaner down into the wreath, so it won't cut your fingers or just be sticking out looking kind of awkward. So I kind of curved the ribbon like a bird's wing, and that one you can see there it's not completely curved, but as I make the wreath I go back and adjust them if I need to. Because the next one I'm going to do is right next to it. It's going to kind of run into it, and I'm going to mess it up a little bit anyway. I usually go back later and make sure everything is curved really nice. Alright, so this is the steps. Add a piece of the little 10-inch ribbon so I get some color underneath. Then add my gathered mesh. Give a couple twists. And then I alternate now with the other ribbon tails. The first one had the teal with a white and teal ribbon on top, and now this one has blue and white, the teal and white polka dot with white on top. I think yeah, if I do this again I won't use the white ribbon on top of all of that white. It kind of just got lost, so maybe this would have been a great place to add a little more color. Not sure how I was going to do it because I couldn't find another 1.5-inch ribbon that I liked with this wreath. I really just wanted teal and white, and even adding the florals underneath, it was kind of changing my thought pattern on what I wanted to create. But like I said, all teal colors, they all blended together very well, and I hope you like the wreath when I'm finished. Okay, so again, if you're enjoying the video and you're not a family member, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll be notified when new videos are released. So I'm going to keep adding these on, and I'm going to do it for the inner layer, and then I'm going to go around and do it for the outer layer. And like I said, this isn't going to be a long video, so I'm going to do this rather quickly. But if you like to see it all step by step, even as I'm adding each one in, I'll attach another a link to another video in the description box so that you can see me work through that. Okay, let's get ready for the next step. So I've just finished adding my last bundle to the wreath, and this is where I said I go back and just do a lot of shaping, making sure the ends of the ribbon tails aren't just sticking up in the air. And this is one of those things you just keep doing and keep doing until you say, okay, that's enough, stop it, it's time to move on to the next thing, because we can just shape forever. Alright, so I'm just getting all those tails curled under nicely so they're just not looking like flyaway hairs. And we'll be ready to move on to the next step in a minute, but let me share how this look is looking so far. You see those little peaks of the floral colors in there? I just think it's so pretty. Alright, I'm looking for somewhere to put this. I've got to do some more cleaning. I've started moving some things around, but boy, it's hard to keep a craft room straight. Okay, let's see what's next. Next, I want to make a big bow. I am not going to add the bow to the wreath though. I'm going to make it an accessory so that the buyer can decide if they want to use it on their wreath, they can attach it, or if they want to use it separately so they have a coordinating bow to add to like lantern, mailbox, light post, anything, they will have that option. So I started with an 18-inch tail, and then I just did a 6-inch loop. I gave my ribbon a twist, came back, and I'm doing another 6-inch loop, and I'm about to give it a twist again. I guess I've already done it as I put it in there. I'm making one more 6-inch loop, gathering that, and this is going to be the last one. I'm going to do 3 loops, and then I'm going to cut another tail. It's only going to be 1 inch past the loop, so thereby being 7 inches. I discovered with making my last wreath, when I made those tails much longer, I didn't like the way it looked. I like everything to kind of fit into a nice bow shape, that rounded shape, and when you make that tail longer, it tends to sit out a little past the shape that I'm trying to keep. So the next one I'm going to do here is added the next 2.5-inch ribbon, and I was trying to figure out a way to put this ribbon on here so that I could actually start with the tail hanging on the other side. So this worked for me. It got a little jumbled, but it worked. I would love to figure this out because, you know, I guess if you're left-handed, you would switch the whole bow maker around maybe. I would say I would love to figure out a way to help left-handed people make bows, and maybe I'll work on that a little bit more in the future. So again, got my 18-inch tail. I have measured out my 6 inches, just added in that ribbon. Right now I'm about to give it I gave it a little bit of a twist, and you see it didn't go all the way, so I had to do it again. Measure out another 6 inches, and you do that by going out to the 6-inch mark on your bow maker or on your board, cutting board, or if you just use a ruler, that's fine too. So I've got my 3 loops there made, and now I'm going to again take that last loop, that last end of the ribbon, and make a tail that is 7 inches again. And as I'm moving around, you can see I'm moving along. I am shaping my bow. I tend to do that to try to keep everything where I want it. And see, I just put a little clip there in the middle to make sure my ribbon doesn't lift up, and it's just kind of resting on the little prongs that come up, just to make sure the ribbon doesn't lift up. So now, the way I made this bow, I do a teal and white loop, a teal loop, a teal and white loop, a teal and white, a teal. It makes me think about the Wiz when they says a teeny. But anyway, I do a teal and then a teal and white. Next, I'm doing my 1.5-inch ribbons on top, and I'm lining up the white with the blue and white, and then that other print I'm going to put on top of the teal. I'm sorry, I said blue and white. The white is now on top of the teal and white ribbon, and every time I make a loop or whatever, I'm trying to line it up with one of those ribbons underneath so that it's actually on top. These loops are now 5 inches. My tail is still 18. Started out with 18, but my loops are 5 inches, and I just twisted that ribbon, and I don't need to, so I'm going to come back out, make sure it's straight, and still cutting at 7 inches because it can still go out. You know, the longest loop is 6 inches, so the 7 inches with a nice little curl, it still holds the shape of the bow. So here again, I'm going to start from the left side of my bow maker, so that I can have these tails on both sides. I have seen people let all those tails run to one side, and then in the end they somehow manage to have them all hanging down in the center. I haven't been able to do that. They all tend to sway to one side. So I just do it the way I can. Start the old thing, start that 18-inch tail on the other side, and it works out for me. So it's a little wonky though with the ribbon, because you see how it's all twisted up there in the front. But you can manage it. So I've got my 3 loops, and now I'm going to cut this at 7 inches. And you see how I'm using my bow maker to figure out where that 7-inch mark is. And giving it a snip. And kind of as I was going along, I was trying to clip those tails. I hopefully will get them all. And here again is where I'm lining stuff up so that that teal and white one is above the solid teal. Yeah. So I ended up with it teal and white, white, teal and white, white, alternating on this layer of my bow. And I still have one more ribbon to go, because I decided I was going to put that floral one right in the top. Give this bow a nice little pop, give it some interest, give it some color, more color. And here I go again, forgetting to add my zip tie and pipe cleaner to the bottom of my bow. What it is about me that I can't remember to do this, I don't know. I'm going to do my best to try, because it's hard to get all of this stuff underneath the bow later. Okay, so anywho, one more layer here. I'm still going to do 18 inches and make this last few loops. And I was looking at my wreath, I guess, trying to decide then whether or not it would actually fit on the wreath, or how much the florals was shining through. Should I do this floral on top? And I decided, yeah, I really like it, so it's going on top. Made an executive decision that I'm going to add it on top. Okay, so now my loops are coming in. I did 6/5. Now this is actually like a 4-inch loop on top, so it's very small. It will really pop in the center when I pull this bow together tightly, because the loops are so small. And this time, because it's right on top, I decided to do 4 loops with this instead of just 3. The other ribbons I only did 3, just because I like balance, and because it's right in the front, I just wanted more balance. In the end, it's so tight, like to have those big loops there in the front. I could have gotten away with 3, because it's not a whole lot of space there. So that last tail, I cut at 18. This one has the long tails on both sides, again just for more balance since it's right in the front. Alright, so now I gotta get underneath all of these layers and add my zip tie there, because I waited till the last minute. So I'm going underneath, bringing it around, and I'm going to begin zip tying it, pulling it together loosely until I get all of this ribbon off of my bow maker. And then I'm going to shape the bow some more, and then I'm going to tighten it some more, and then I'm going to shape it some more, and then I'm going to tighten it some more. And I just continue to do that till I'm comfortable with my bow. I'm going to get the this is where I have to be careful, because it's really not very the zip tie is not very tight, and if you yank on this ribbon too hard, you will, you know, pull right from the other side of your bow. So your 6-inch loop will end up being 7 on one side and 5 on the other. So just be gentle with it now. Think of shaping more toward the side as you kind of move the ribbon to the side, so that everything can be seen, versus pulling it out, because it will mess up the shape of your bow. Okay, so like I said, I'm shaping, and then I'm going to stop and right there pull the zip tie a little bit tighter, swung it around to the back, and I was pulling it tight, and then I said, oh shoot, I forgot to add my pipe cleaner in the back, and it almost got too tight to get the pipe cleaner in there. But I managed to get it in, and I pulled it all the way through to the halfway mark. That's why I've got to remember to add it before I make my bow. So I got it all in there, and you can see I'm still shaping. One of the ribbons in the back had kind of gotten gathered, so I pulled that out so it's nice and straight. And yeah, I kind of got the bow how I want it, so I'm just pulling and pulling on that zip tie and still trying to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Because once I give that final tug on the zip tie, you're not going to be doing much moving after that. You can move stuff a little bit, but not very much. Alright, so I'm going to continue shaping here. I'm going to pull that zip tie really tight, and then I'm going to move on to the next step. So the last thing I have to do is to, I gotta shape some more. Alright, so the last thing I have to do is to dovetail or fishtail the ends of my ribbon here. And I'm going to do that on all 6 of them, and trying to make sure I get them pretty much the same length. The 1.5 inch I just did a diagonal cut, and then I have these other 2. I'm going to give them the fishtail cut. The white ribbon, that's from Sam's Club, and it well, all of it's from Sam's Club. It's fraying a little bit, so I may take a little dab of fingernail polish and put it on the ends of those tails. So, because I don't have a lot of tails, for white, it's only 2 to work on there. But we'll see. It did pretty good with the wreath, but then I guess because the bow, I'm messing with it a little bit more, it kind of started fraying a little bit. But now I'm taking my tube from an old tube from some mesh and curling my tails. I really like using this tubes. I saw another YouTuber do this. Somebody on Facebook do this, because it makes your curls really nice and even, and like just a smoother look. And I'm going to do that for all of these tails. And then I'm going to excuse me, and then I'm going to be sharing some pictures, as I always do, so that you can see how the wreath looks on different colored doors and how my bow turns out. I'm just going to share a picture of the bow. I don't have a lantern or anything to add it to. I've got to get my lanterns are outside. They've been outside all winter, and they are nice and dirty. So I've got to get them cleaned up for the spring, and then maybe I'll share some bows on them, because I have white lanterns in the front and some black lanterns in the back. So spring is coming. It's in the air. The little daffodils are starting to come up out the ground. I'm so excited. We're going to have some flowers soon, just like the flowers on my nice little ribbon here. By the way, if you're interested in any of this ribbon, you'd like to purchase it like in a 10-yard roll, let me know. You can just leave me a comment, and I will post it in my Etsy shop, and then let you know it's posted so you can go there to make your purchase. All right, now I want to thank you all for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.